right, folks, just like that, the Cover1 post-game show is here. Week 1 is in the books. Central Bobcats came up a little short tonight. We're going to jump right into that. But before we do, I'm going to introduce my co-host here tonight, Ryan Chadwick. Chadwick, what's going on?
I just got here from San Angelo Stadium, Isn't it exactly the outcome we wanted? But I was kind of proud of the way that the Bobcats played tonight. Everyone was kind of talking about how young and experienced they are, and while they did make a few of those early mental mistakes, like the Bobcats really shored things up and came back in a big way, really challenged Colleen Shoemaker down the stretch, but ultimately fell by 7 points. So the way I see it, this is a great learning experience for the Bobcats, and I know that coaching staff is going to take those lessons and instill them next week in practice as they get ready for Montwood next week.
Chadwick, why don't we go ahead and start looking at some of this some of these videos right here. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and get it started. This is from the top, and we can watch it all the way down. I know some of the viewers have already seen some of this from our halftime show. But right there, Chadwick, start the first drive of the game. We get an interception. And then, of course, the fumble. What was it like down there at the time of this first quarter? It's just crazy back and forth.
Yeah, well, it almost seemed like after that interception, it was just like, oh, no. Brand new quarterback, is this how it's going to be? But then the defense responded with that fumble recovery to take that to give the Bobcats the lead. So it was a real roller coaster of emotions right there.
Well, these Bobcats have always struggled. I mean, not always. But I guess last year's team, defense was the big question mark. Now we're moving into a thing where we have all new offense. What's the question mark for Central?
The question mark is going to be how fast that this young defense can learn their new scheme. For example, in this play that we just watched right there, the Bobcats just kind of lost containment. But other than that, like they figured things out quick and they moved forward. It was the same thing with the offense. Christian English calmed down, and then obviously, as you can see, the Bobcats moved the ball, and Javion Robinson got in the end zone right there.
Yeah, it looked good, and also I know you saw that catch right there from Colton Hill. That's going to be a pretty deadly duo. Tell me a little bit about how him and English kind of coexisted.
Well, Colton Hill was definitely one of the Bobcats' bright spots tonight. Especially when he was running over the middle, Christian kind of used him as one of his first reads or even his safety blanket later in the pocket. But yeah, Colton caught the ball when it was thrown his way, and he didn't fumble. He just got yards and got upfield.
And then Chadwick, the fans have already seen this. We've already seen what happened as they got to halftime. What was the vibe looking like coming out of the locker room, though? Did they seem pretty upbeat about where they were standing in the football game?
Oh yes, they did, and the defense came out hot and they came out ready to play. And Shoemaker received the ball in the first half, and Central shut them down, forced a third and long situation, and Shoemaker threw a pick. And so the Bobcats took over, and the offense went to work. But unfortunately for the Bobcats, once they got inside the 10-yard line, they just kind of stalled. And once they got to fourth down, they ended up turning the ball over on downs.
Well, there was some highlights in this thing where Central was playing really good, but talk about Colleen Shoemaker. They were fast.
Oh, Colleen Shoemaker is a team that's just filled with athletes. I was talking to Coach Crane after the game, and he said they were big, they were mean, and that the offensive line could move people. Like, they could pretty much do whatever they wanted. They were running the ball. Like, I actually credit Central's defense for the way that they handled themselves towards the end there. But Colleen Shoemaker always gives the Bobcats a very tough test to start the season, and that's exactly how the Bobcat coaches want it. It doesn't matter what your record is at the non-district, as long as it gets them ready to play in that tough Little Southwest Conference.
Yeah, and there's a lot of action in the Little Southwest Conference tonight, including an Odessa Permian loss to Amarillo High. We'll get into a little bit about that later, of course, with some other scores from across there. Chadwick, moving into the last half of this game there, that was a heck of a catch right there.
Yep, that's Alex Lindsay. He was the Bobcats' best receiver tonight. It seemed like he was always behind the defense somewhere, and he made several athletic catches like that. And this actually was one of the drives that got all the way down there, but then just kind of ended badly, So it's not like that the Bobcats couldn't move the ball. They just failed to find punch it in the end zone at the end. They had a turnover on downs. Christian English threw a pick the second time they were down there, and then the third time that the Central actually scored, but Colleen Shoemaker could run the ball, and in the second half, they were trying to run that clock out because they knew the Bobcats were coming for them. So it's pretty much how things ended up.
Well, Chadwick, I'll come back to you now. I did see now you may go watch the halftime show and you may hear me say something about it, but how's that fake punt?
It got me. I even said that when I sent that to y'all. I was like, well, they faked me out.
Yeah, don't worry. I made sure to let the audience know. Of course, there was a bunch of people I heard on the radio and stuff. They got faked out too. So, when you have a team that can do that kind of stuff, do you hang your hat on this one? I guess I should say.
Well, there were several situations where the Bobcats got Shoemaker into fourth down, and then Shoemaker would either do a fake punt or they would just go for it, and that's super disheartening as a defense to play against. But Central did the same thing. They didn't kick the ball once when they were on their opponent's side of the field. They just kept going for it on fourth. So I'm sure they were a headache for Colleen Shoemaker, So it's just part of the game, especially in today's day and age with how fast some of these teams play, running the spread, trying to rack up as many plays as possible. I mean, Texas Tech does it at the college level. Obviously, Coach Crane does it at the high school level. It's just how football is now.
And speaking of Coach Crane, we're going to go to his interview here in a little bit. But first, go ahead and kind of prep what you guys kind of talked about.
I just really wanted to know what his overall thoughts were about the Bobcats' performance. Like, obviously, it wasn't the result that anybody wanted because the Bobcats ended up falling in the end. But as Coach Crane has said several times this preseason, it's a very young, experienced, and immature team, and he wants to see positive steps for growth. And in the interview, Coach Crane addressed that, and he thinks the Bobcats have taken that another step in the right direction.
Well, we're going to get to that right now, actually. But before we do, I want to tell you guys that the central sponsor for the 2023 COVER1 football season is Angelo Bolt. If you need anything like bolts, nuts, hand tools, power tools, shop supplies, go over there to 808 Warehouse Road. That's Angelo Bolt. Or, of course, you can find him on the web, angelobolt.com. Whether you need anything big or small, Angelo Bolt is definitely the place to go. All right, with that, here is the head coach for the Central Bobcats, Kevin Crane.
All right, joining me is Coach Crane, head coach of Central Bobcats. Post-game, after the game against Colleen Shoemaker. Coach, obviously it's not the outcome we wanted, but I feel like that the Bobcats took a step forward tonight. Talk about your team's performance.
Yeah, I thought we did some good things, and we did some things that we're going to have to get better at. And but kind of like what you said, I thought from our scrimmage last Friday to this Friday, I think we improved, and that's a good thing, and we just got to keep improving from here.
Coach Christian English got the start tonight, and honestly, he looked a little nervous in the beginning, but it's like he came into his own by the time the second half rolled around. Had some beautiful deep throws. Talk about Christian for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, that was his first start on a Friday night varsity football game, so it's different. I mean, it's a different deal. So I thought he did some good things once he got kind of settled in. I thought he did some good things, and obviously some stuff that we're going to have to improve and get better at. But he realizes that, and we'll get better from here.
And, Coach, defensively, you had 2 takeaways tonight. It's got to be super encouraging. What is the defense? What's the next step for the defense at this point?
Yeah, they did some good things, That was a good football team. They were big. That tight end was a monster, and big up front as well. And so I was proud of our defense. I thought they held in there pretty good. Obviously, they scored the touchdown right off the bat, and that's a real positive as well. So, just kind of like I've been saying is like we just got to keep getting better from here. It's first time in this scheme, and we're learning and we're getting more comfortable in it. But we just got to continue to make improvements from here on out.
All right. Again, this is head coach Kevin Crane, coach of Central Bobcats. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
In addition to Coach Crane, I actually got to track down the man of the hour, Christian English, in his first start as a varsity quarterback for the Central Bobcats tonight. Let's go ahead and see what Christian English had to say. All right, joining me now is a quarterback for the Central Bobcats, Christian English. Christian, started your first varsity game of your career tonight. How do you feel overall about the game as it progressed?
It started off bad. If I played first quarter, the outcome could be different. I started off with a pick. As the second quarter, I started heating up, and then third quarter, The score, our defense did good third quarter. You know, they held them. They held them the whole second half except for my other pick, which caused a touchdown. I'm going to get that on me, too. I got to fix those. But I'm going to just get better. In the next game, we're going to be better and hopefully come out with a dub.
And Christian, I love that you're calling yourself out. You're almost like taking responsibility immediately for it. But other than that, as your first game goes, like you had some beautiful balls over the top. You threw a couple different touchdown passes. You converted those fourth downs with your legs. Overall, like I think it was a performance from you. What is the positive things that you've taken away from your first start?
You know, it's good. I like that. Eyes up when I scramble because it keeps the defense jumping. They don't know if they should attack me or get the receivers. And I like how I read the safeties and read the defense and make the open throws and put the ball in play.
Yeah, and moving forward, man, especially next week against El Paso, it's another team that's going to be pretty athletic in a game that Central is very capable of winning. What do you think your offense needs to do to take that next step, to get to that next level?
I think we need to work on the little things. Right? No, we had too much turnovers this game. You know, we cut those turnovers, we score more points, we win. And in practice next week, we're going to work on those and get those things better and hopefully come out with a dub.
All right, man. Well, again, congratulations on your first start, and we wish you all the best luck in the future.
Yes, thank you.
This has been Christian English, quarterback for the Central Bobcats.
Thank you.
All right, that's the new starting quarterback at Central. That's the new Central Bobcats starting quarterback, Christian English. It's going to be exciting to see what he has moving forward. Chadwick, are you ready to get into some scores?
Oh, yeah, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let me pull up the
some pretty exciting games this week, too.
No kidding. Before we do get into the scores, though, I want to let you guys know that, let me pull it up really quickly, the scores page this year. Oh, one more try here. Week 1, man. You got to give us a break. Here we go. The COVER1 scoreboard is brought to you by Texas Bank. Locally owned and governed, Texas Bank is a proud sponsor of COVER1 Athletics. Just like the guys on the field, Texas Bank wants to show you what it means to be a team. From checking to savings to personal loans to commercial loans, Texas Bank is here for San Angeloans with 3 convenient locations. So when you're thinking of who to bank, use the local guys. Texas Bank. Now, on to the scores. We're going to start with Lubbock Monterey versus Odessa. Fourth quarter there right now, 44-42. That is a little Southwest Conference foe right there, Chadwick. We were hoping you rooting for Monterey?
Yeah. I went to school at Texas Tech in Lubbock anyway, so yeah, let's go for it.
There you go. Jim Ned, Hawley. Hawley lost tonight 32-12. Could you believe that one?
All right, defending state champion, graduated a lot of their team, but they're still pretty good. That pretty much means that Jim Ned's also really good.
Yep, pretty scary there. McCamey and Crane, 50-32. Crane is up big time in that one. 48-28, Reagan County up big against Wink. 52-10, that's a third quarter score for Early and Bangs. Buena Vista, Irion County. Irion County lost tonight, Chadwick, 46-42.
After graduating their top 3 players from a year ago, it looks like they're going to take a small step back. But as you can see, Coach Harrison has this team scoring 42 points. So, hey, maybe there's hope for the future.
All right, Lorraine and Highland, 71-42, like that one probably ended. Coahoma, Forsan, 43-34. Coahoma, Eden, and Lakey, 62-18. Lakey wins big. Cross Plains winners, 51-28. Cross Plains, San Angelo TLCA, Ozona. Chadwick, we had TLCA winning this game. Boy, were we wrong. 65-14, Lions win. Abilene Wiley, Brownwood, 35-21, Brownwood.
That is surprising.
Yeah, yeah? So is that making you feel a little hopeful when Central plays them in a few
Yes,
weeks?
it is. Brownwood's a 4A. Abilene Wiley's a 5A. That's already a big deal. And Brownwood graduated a lot of guys last year. So, yeah, that looks good. Like, that makes me feel better for Central in a couple weeks.
All right, Johnson City, Comfort, 51-20, Johnson City. Paint Rock, Midland TLCA, 34-22, Paint Rock. Harper, Dehanis, 28-7, Harper. Friendship, Lubbock Coronado, Friendship wins big. No surprise there?
Not really. This is kind of how I expected it if Central and Lubbock Coronado actually played a real game instead of just a scrimmage.
All right, we're going to keep it going here. Randall and Andrews, 32-21 Andrews. Ballinger, Sonora, 46-12. Ballinger, Sonora looking like they didn't miss a beat after they're missing their starting quarterback.
Yeah, and in the first half, that game was close, too, so it looks like Sonora just ran away with it.
Pampa, Big Spring, 35-25. Pampa, Odessa, Permian, Abilene High, 49-14. Mojo, loses.
And let's just stick on this screen for a second here, Matt. I just want to throw this out there. I know Abilene High is good. I know they've dropped down to 5A when they actually should be a 6A in the Little Southwest Conference where they belong, but it is what it is. Mojo loses. Today is a great day if Mojo loses.
There you go. What is that? Fly Warbirds Fly?
Yep.
There you go. LaPrire, Ira N, 38-0. Ira N. Brady Comanche, 37-8. Our boys out there in Brady didn't really do too hot. We're gonna go check it out here in a little bit, and also hear from head coach Jaron Roberts. Midland, El Paso, Montwood. Midland wins that one 38-14. So if we're thinking Odessa's gonna lose, Odessa Permian loses, Midland wins, Central loses, Friendship wins. We're going to see, I guess, what Midland Legacy has to do here in a second. Coleman Mason, 29-20 Mason. That was a really close one there. And Brady's going to have to face both of those guys in the next couple weeks. Not looking forward to that. Lamesa Lakeview.
Look at them Chiefs tonight, 49-8. This might be one of the biggest wins that the Chiefs have had in the last couple of seasons. Congratulations to Coach Guevara and those Chiefs out there at Lakeview.
And I guarantee you they're going to keep it rolling. Junction De Leon, 40-19 De Leon. Moran Lawn, 40-0 Moran. Colorado C loses big time to Roscoe, 42-0. And Stanton and Grape Creek, the boys on the north side, still got a little ways to go, 42-6 Stanton. Aspermont and Blackwell, 30-14 Aspermont. Stanford, Hamlin, 48-6 Stanford. Albany, Lubbock, Trinity Christian. Albany was losing this game at halftime. Chadwick ended up squeaking by at 1 point, 22-21.
Again, Lubbock Trinity Christian is also a really good team, but you expect that from a defending state champion to overcome that adversity to come back.
Stockdale, Ingram Moore, 13-14. Ingram Moore, one of those real tight games there. Robert Lee whooped on Rotan tonight, 46-0 for the Steers. Midland Legacy, Amarillo High, 28-7.
This is another big statement game because the Sandys always bring a good squad. Like they're one of the best teams in 5A right now, and Midland Legacy put it to them.
Well, and we saw what happened to their counterpart Odessa Permian when they had to face a 5A. Blanket Rising Star, 52-6. Rising Star, very best, 50-0. Menard, McDade, 62-14. Menard. Looters, Avaca versus the Trent Gorillas, 51-6. Trent. Lubbock Estacado, Midland Greenwood. This one was last night. You want to talk about a stat line, Chadwick? We may have to pull that up here in a little bit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The
They're
guy
running
from
back out
Estacado
there.
had like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Abilene TLCA, 9. Water Valley, 60. You were at that one last night. What a stinker. I was at this one. Bront Zephyr, also kind of a stinker there, 42-18 Zephyr. Panther Creek, Woodson, still need a score from there. Of course, Colleen Shoemaker beat San Angelo Central tonight in a really, really close one. Central was there for the whole time, only lost by one score, 34-27. Miles Kermit, 72-12. Miles wins big time. Battle of 277 comes to an end, 26-12. El Dorado. Wall Eastland, 35-10. Wall wins. That's going to be the scores for tonight. Of course, the Cover 1
Hawks.
scoreboard is brought to you by Texas Bank. Locally owned and governed, Texas Bank is a proud sponsor of Cover 1 Athletics, just like the guys on the field. Texas Bank wants to show you what it means to be a team. From checking to savings to personal loans to commercial loans, Texas Bank is here for San Angelo Owens with 3 convenient locations. So when you're thinking of where to bank, use the local guys at Texas Bank. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Intertel, because Intertel is a proud sponsor of the Cover 1 football show. Intertel has been providing cutting-edge but proven technology for homes and businesses in the Concho Valley. Just like the game of football, a good defense is important to winning. Need a security system or cameras? Get a free quote today by visiting Intertel.com or by calling 325-658-8375. Chadwick, you want to look at a little bit of Brady stuff while we're here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So let me see. I got to pull it up really quick. Of course, just kind of give the folks a preview while I'm pulling it up.
All right. So Brady was kind of an underdog going into this matchup. They have a really talented running back. I'm pretty sure he's already committed to go play D1 as a junior. You know what I mean? So the Bulldogs were going to have their hands full from the get-go. With that being said, I think Brady's defense actually held up pretty well considering the caliber of athlete they were going against. Offense, there's still a big question mark. Only managed to put up 8 points on the board tonight, but again, that's more of a credit to how good Comanche is than it is anything against Coach Jaron Roberts and the Brady Bulldogs. Defensively, contained Wilkerson for most of the first half. Kind of got away from it in the second, but at that point, Brady was chunking up prayers trying to come back in this ball game. as you can see, it's just kind of Comanche running all over the place.
But you will see Zeke break off one. I mean, that's what we talked about all week was, we got to get him some space. We got to let him, do his thing. And Coach said he was looking for the long ball. Here it is right here. This is an inside, it's like an inside trap or something.
Yep.
And
once he's gone, you are not catching that man.
No, and he breaks another one right after this too. I mean, I even wrote in my notes, I said, feed Zeke. Look at this. Bounces it out to the outside. Gets a good block right there from his receiver. If he jumps on it, that's a pancake.
Yep.
And then, unfortunately, try to do a little trick play here. A little handoff throw, interception.
Oof.
And that's that's
not
just
quite enough air under it. That's
Yeah.
something that more practice will help you out, Zeke. We know you're a good running back, man.
And then
It's
this
all
pick
good.
was just during garbage time, the last seconds of the half. This was like a Hail Mary attempt to try to get it in there. 31-8 at this point. The Bulldogs look better than some of the other teams in their district that we saw tonight. I mean, they're going to be really competitive. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, Comanche is a really good football team. They made it real deep in the playoffs last year, and I know Brady ended up allowing 37, but this is a big improvement over to what the score of the game was even a season ago. So Coach Roberts is already changing that culture out there, and Brady taking a step forward with that defense.
And so moving on, let's go ahead and pull up. Let's go ahead and get into the coach's interview. We went and interviewed Coach Roberts after the game. Let's go ahead and see what he has to say. I'm pulling it up right now. Give me 1 second, folks.
And of course, it's our other co-host James Bellini who drove out to Brady tonight to cover that game of Comanche versus Brady. So
here we go.
I'm here with head coach of Brady Bulldogs, Jaron Roberts. Took a loss here against Comanche, 37-8, but there were some encouraging things. Defensively, y'all looked pretty good on some drives, and then offensively, y'all looked pretty good. There were certain sparks that, kind of go into some of those offensive sparks that y'all had.
Absolutely, we're showing some flashes of it. We just got to work on the consistency aspect of it in all three phases of the game. We made some mistakes tonight and shot ourselves in the foot. Had a couple of turnovers, gave Comanche some short fields, and when you do that against good teams, they're going to take advantage of it, and credit them for that. And we just got to keep working and work on the consistency aspect of it. But very proud of the kids and the effort that they put forward.
Now, Zeke Jones had a couple big runs that had even a good catch on the sidelines. I think what's it like having a player like that who can kind of take over a game?
Oh, absolutely. You see it. You can see what Zeke can do, and he's going to make plays for us. He's going to make plays throughout the season, and the guys around him now, we've got to get them stepping up and making some plays as well, because that's all eyes are on Zeke right now. And so credit to him, still making some plays, but we've got to get some other guys making some plays around him.
And even defense, Ashton Ramsey had an interception, and you forced a couple fumbles.
Defensively, when you line up against Comanche and they're no huddle, they're going to kind of see how you line up, and so you got to kind of move around and show them some different things, and that's just the way good offenses are. I thought our kids did some good things. We also had a couple of coverage breakdowns as we tried to kind of shift out of a few things and gave up a couple of plays. But overall, I felt like defensively we flew around. We played assignment football, and then I thought we tackled well pretty much the first three quarters, and then didn't tackle very well in the fourth quarter when we got tired.
Now, when we talked during for the pregame show, you said you don't think you could really contain a player like Sawyer Wilkes, but I thought y'all did a pretty decent job of keeping him in check.
Yeah. I thought our kids did a good job on Sawyer. Like I said, you got to put 3, 4, 5 hats on him. You're not going to one-on-one tackle him. And we got in a few positions tonight where we had to one-on-one tackle him, and he got a couple of big runs out of it. But other than that, I feel like the yards that he got, we sure made him earn.
And this is just the beginning. It's not next week. You have another good team. Kind of just the gauntlet at the beginning of the season. How do you keep your team in it mentally? Just say don't get discouraged, because these are really good football teams, and first-year head coach out here.
Yeah.
How do you keep your team in it?
Well, we got to work on the consistency part of it, not beating ourselves. That's the first step to it. Not turning the ball over, giving them short fields. We had a short punt out of bounds, and then there were a couple of times when we made them go long fields and we got some stops. And so we'll go back and watch film tomorrow, get a lift in, but we got to work on the consistency aspect of it. And just not shooting ourselves in the foot.
All right, this has been Brady Bulldog head coach Jaron Roberts.
Appreciate you.
So it looks like the Brady Bulldogs did have a bit of a rough night tonight, but hey, Coach Roberts has a positive message. And moving forward, the Bulldogs are going to have to grow, and they're going to have to grow quickly. They play Mason next week, and of course you saw what Mason did to Coleman. And after Brady plays Mason, they play Coleman the week after that. So the Bulldogs have a tough road ahead of them, but it looks like this is the coaching staff that can help the Bulldogs get to the next level. They got both offensive and defensive weapons that need to improve. But honestly, against a team like Comanche, I think that the Bulldogs played their hearts out. That's kind of what James Bellini was saying out there tonight. And, of course, all this Brady coverage is presented by our friends over at Destination Ford. So let's go ahead and hear a quick message from them.
Mark Smith, Smitty the Redneck, coming to you from Destination Ford. We're proud to be a sponsor of Brady football this year, and we've got a great Redneck special for you this week. 22 Explorers have up to $4,000 cash off of the MSRP and 1.9% financing with approved credit. Come out and grab one of our Explorers. Go Bulldogs!
All right. Well, there we go. It's getting a little trippy there. I was like, there we go. Okay, so that is our Brady coverage right there. We got a few more games to get to. Of course, one of them was the Miles Bulldogs, who I know that, Chadwick, you were really looking forward to taking a look at.
Oh, yeah. Like I thought it was going to be a blowout in Miles' favor, and they delivered and then some, apparently. So no offense to the Kermit Yellow Jackets out there, but this Miles Bulldogs team is for real. So let's go ahead and just start taking a quick look at this.
So there's a first touchdown by Kermit. Hey, look at that. Got on the board first. You would think, hey, this is going to maybe be a tight game. 6-0 here. Let's take a look. Haven Book. First touchdown of the year, of course, a bomb to the far side, and that's just going to walk in there untouched, basically falls down on the track by the thing. Did you see that? Almost hit the fence, Chadwick.
That's how ankles are broken. We got to be careful, guys.
Yeah, definitely. And then here's the extra point here. They're going to kick it, right?
Well, hopefully.
Nope,
sir. They did not. Okay.
It's a fake. And look at that. Dancing back there. Who cares? Make one miss, make two miss, jump again, and walk in the end zone. That kid is balling, Chadwick.
I mean, that's one way to take the lead, and it looks like that the Bulldogs are going to keep their foot on the gas this entire season.
Yeah, this game really got out of hand in the second half. It was really kind of competitive in the first quarter, really got out of hand in the second half, especially when you're talking about deep into that third and fourth quarter where, you started getting into that really dangerous area of up by 50 points.
Yeah, and you
Look
gotta,
at that bomb.
yeah, you gotta talk about conditioning too, especially this early in the season. When you have a quarterback as accurate as Haven Book, and you saw it right there, that was a pinpoint pass right to the back of the end zone. It's just going to be tough to deal with until your team is more conditioned.
Did you see that touchdown by Kermit? I don't want to miss that one. Didn't have very many of them, so you want to highlight them when you can. They were able to get in the end zone for about a 2-yard run. Maybe that's something we got to take a note on for this game is, of course, we know Miles is going to be able to score, but they did give up some touchdowns.
I mean, not very many. They gave up 2 the whole game, didn't they? I think that's a pretty good
Strive
defensive
to be
day.
perfect. Strive to be perfect.
Yeah, not taking anything away from the Yellow Jackets, though.
When you have to nitpick, you know what I'm saying? That's a good thing.
I think that's a good problem for Coach Wilhelm and the rest of the Bulldogs to have.
Oh, it's a great thing. Here we go. 3-step drop back. Here's a little screen pass. Make one miss and just go to the house.
And that's one thing that the Bulldogs have this year is speed. Is that Rojas right there? It looks like it. Like we all know how fast that young man is once he gets out in space.
Here's another one right here, just a handoff and another get in space. Look at those blockers though.
Yep.
Right there. Pause.
And there he goes.
We're gonna do a cover one. Matt Tran will pause. We're backing this sucker up. You know what? You know who made this play right here?
The big boys up front.
Right here.
Yep.
Keep your eye right here. Because he makes this block and drives him all the way out of the field. There's not a corner there to make that play. Go get you a touchdown. I mean, this game was, we could watch these highlights forever. This game was how you teach someone how to beat somebody with the spread.
Textbook high-powered spread offense.
Exactly.
That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, and it comes from not even blocking down in the trenches. I mean, they had 10-foot splits. I mean, it's all about,
that was a really good kick out block, drive to the sideline, back hits the hole, then he gets to the sideline, and it's just a foot race after that. And if Rojas is in a foot race, he's usually going to win that one.
Yeah, and so, Chad, what do you think is the most important, or what do you think was the most impressive thing there? I guess the QB?
Of course, Haven Book is going to be the guy to watch out for. I think that the young man is good enough to actually get a couple offers this year to go play somewhere one day. But what impressed me most is the fact that Miles never took the foot off the gas. Of course the defense allowed those first 2 touchdowns, but after that it was just all offense all the time. And in order for the offense to get that many possessions, the defense has to keep feeding them, giving it right back to them. So, and I know once you get pretty far behind, it pretty much becomes garbage time offense because the other team is just throwing up prayers. But hey, Miles' defense came to play.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go to the Brady head coach's interview. But before we do, I got to let you guys know what we're eating tonight. And you know what that is. It's the Pit Barbecue. For your Friday nights, skip out on the pizza and hamburgers from the stands, or around here maybe you're eating one of those sausage wraps. Skip all that kind of nonsense and go down to the Pit Barbecue. Tonight, the crew here ate pit pies. You may wonder what that is. Well, that is amazing Frito pies with barbecue and sauce all over it. It was so good. Make sure you go down there to the Pit Barbecue at 2330 Sherwood Way. Tell Jesse the live Cover1 team sent you when you do. All right, now let's get to the interview with head coach Jason Wilhelm of the Miles Bulldogs.
We executed very well on offense. Kermit's a lot bigger school than we are, and has a little more size than we do, but we know we've got some quickness and some speed. We play good in space. We got the ball out in space. Our quarterback did what we expected him to. I really thought offense for week 1 was almost clicking on all cylinders. We're still not healthy yet, so when we get Manuel Torres back, that hopefully that's going to be even better. But offensively we did a lot of good stuff.
Amazing. So if you could pick something out from this game to improve on for next week's game, what would it be?
Our kicking game.
Kicking game.
Yeah, we lost a good kicker last year. We've got a couple of guys that have been working on it. Of course, week 1, you've only got 2.5, 3 weeks maybe of working kicking game, and it's something we're going to get better at it. There's no doubt about that. But that's easily number 1 for us.
Yeah. Overall, how do you think the boys played this game?
Boys played outstanding. Like I said, we were super pleased with them, and they played hard. We're playing a JV this year, so we only have about 6 or 7 bodies on the sideline. So it's tough to get everybody into playing shape. The only way to do it is to keep playing, and at the tempo we play with, that helps us. So I think the number of kids we had, they played hard.
Awesome, amazing.
All right, there you go. Heard it from the horse's mouth himself. Before we keep going, guys, I want to let you know that this show is brought to you by yours truly. That's right. You may be asking yourself, what is yours truly? Well, yours truly is our award sponsor for the season. Yours truly. Every athlete has one thing, and that's their eye on the prize. At Yours Truly, they offer engravings, plaques, trophies, and more. This year, Yours Truly will provide awards for all of our Cover1 Players of the Week and, of course, our All-Star team at the end of the year. So go see Yours Truly today at 2438 Sherwood Way. That is right next to Papa John's here in San Angelo. Chadwick, we're going to keep moving a little bit. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this next game, TLCA versus Ozona. Well, we both thought that Ozona was going to win this game. Are you ready to get your words?
We thought that TLCA was going to win this game.
That's what I meant to say. Excuse me.
It did not end up that way. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised at the result. Kind of find out that there were some pretty to do with like the psyche of the team moving forward. But of course, when you have a brand new head coach, there are going to be some growing pains. So hopefully, this is just one of those examples. And here come the Eagles. And obviously they didn't win tonight, but like hopefully this is a lesson that they can move forward.
Yeah, it's growing pains, but at the same time, the Eagles had the best year they had last year. They started off the very first drive of the game, we have a fumble. I mean, this team won a bunch of games last year and have players on that team that can still win games. They're very athletic. I think maybe Ozona just brought more than we expected.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely what it seems like happened there. And I mean, credit to the Ozona Lions out there. They came to play. They basically are like, we're not going to be discounted. You know, TLCA's got to take their lumps and they got to move forward from this. But congrats to the Lions in this football game.
And their quarterback, man, he really put his shoulder. He knows how to put his shoulder down and run over some guys. I think that was really their main game plan. And as you'll see in some of these clips here in a little bit, that's what he does. He takes it, fakes it, gets a lead blocker in front of him, and then just moves on down as we to get to the end zone. Sorry.
Yeah. And of course, we got Ozona with the ball right here. It looks like that they're going to be scoring another touchdown. I know that they had scored several of these before the half. I think, what was that the halftime score, Matt? What wasn't it almost 50-0 at that point?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And so, like, obviously, TLCA's got some work to do on the offensive side of the ball. They've got to be able to give their defense more of a break. Can't keep putting them in the situation where they're constantly having to defend. But, again, Coach Paulo Gonzalez comes from 6A stock. I know he coached at Crowley for a little bit up in the Metroplex area, and then, of course, grew up in the Abilene area. So let's give this TLCA Eagles team a little bit more time to improve and learn their scheme and move forward.
Exactly. You know, it happens when you get a new coach. It's just a whole kind of learning change, and there's got to be a learning curve. So we'll give the TLCA Eagles a learning curve with that one, and then just go ahead and get off them and move on to something else. But before we do, I think we do have a coach's interview to get to that one. We went and our reporter on the scene, Sam Menchaca, went ahead and interviewed the Ozona head coach. So I will pull that up right now. Chadwick, probably 30 seconds.
All right. Well, let's just talk about like what TLCA's next steps here are at this point, because of course they're one of our big San Angelo schools, so we got to show them some love. No one ever likes getting their butts kicked on, especially in the first game of the season. Take it from a guy who was on a central team that finished 0-10 one of the years I was there. It's never fun, but it teaches you a lot about yourself, and especially it's only the first game of the season, so you just got to pick yourself up and get ready to play next week. All these coaches know what they're doing. You just got to trust the process and trust the game plan as they move forward. But one thing that this team can do is come together and practice really hard next week and make sure they know their assignments, make sure they know the plays, and make sure they do their job, because if all 11 guys are not doing their jobs all at the same time, can't have success.
Yeah, that's all we can do is just keep on keeping on, keep on trying. We're going to go to the coach of Ozona right now. Let's hear from him.
Here with Coach Taylor of Ozona Lions. They had a impressive win tonight, 65-14. Coach, first night of first week of football. Tell me what you thought of the game. It was a dominating performance.
It was. I was telling the coaches at halftime, this couldn't have gone better for us this week, or this game tonight. Just the execution was great for us. I was just telling them we haven't started off a season like this in a long time, and I think the biggest thing right now is if we can carry this over into next week, that'll be huge.
Okay, and speaking of, who is your next week's opponent, and what do you think of that?
We have Wink coming to our place next week, and we've played them the whole time since I've been here, and we've played them close every time, but we have not come on top yet.
Okay, and you had an injury or two. Everybody just a little cramping, or
is it pretty much all cramps? Yes, sir. It was hot, first week. There's going to be a lot of cramping.
Right. All right, Coach Taylor of Ozona Lions. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about the injuries. I don't know exactly what all happened, but Sam did tell me that there was at least one player that had to be carted off via ambulance from Lakeview Stadium, and then they had to pause a little bit before fourth quarter started to get another ambulance out there. So everybody out there, say a quick prayer, because this is more than a game. So prayers goes out to the TLCA Eagles, and make sure and hopefully everything is okay and that everybody can play a little bit more football next week because we got a lot of football to go, Chadwick.
Yeah, and to be honest, that it's one important thing to note that this is, at the end of the day, it is just a game. It's a bunch of young men who are going out there working for the same common goal, and sometimes these injuries happen. So, yeah, if you can, say a quick prayer for the young man who had to go to the hospital tonight, and we will try to update with any information we receive on the injuries tonight.
All right, last chance here, Chadwick. We're going to go into the scores page one more time. But of course, before we do, the Cover One scoreboard is presented by Texas Bank. Locally owned and governed, Texas Bank is a proud sponsor of Cover One Athletics. Just like the guys on the field, Texas Bank wants to show you what it means to be a team. From checking to savings to personal loans to commercial loans, Texas Bank is here for San Angelo Owens with 3 convenient locations. So when you're thinking of who to bank with, just choose the local guys. Let's get into some scores. Early bangs, 52-10, fourth quarter. Most of these are going to be already final. Monterey versus Odessa High, 44-22, Monterey. Lorraine Highland, 72-48, Highland. Johnson City Comfort, 58-20, Johnson City. Reagan County Wink, 54-48. Reagan County was up all game, Chadwick. What? Even the last time we checked,
I mean, honestly, like, this is a very surprising result, but like, this is kind of what Coach Brown said that he needed to see from his team in the miles after the miles scrimmage. He needs the leaders to step up. Like, again, this is non-district, so this is not the end of the world, but this should be a wake-up call for these Owls out there.
Better get it fixed now while you can. LaPrire Ira Ann, 38-0 Ira Ann. McCamey Crane, 50-32 Crane. Jim Ned Hawley, 32-12 Jim Ned. Buena Vista, Irion County, 46-42 Buena Vista. Cahoma Forsan, 43-34 Cahoma. Eden Lakey, 62-18 Lakey. Cross Plains, winners, 51-28 Cross Plains. TLCA San Angelo loses to Ozona 65-14. Abilene Wiley Brownwood 35-21 Brownwood. Paint Rock beats Midland TLCA tonight 34-22. I know everyone's been kind of waiting for that score. It just kind of came in 34-22 Paint Rock. Harper Dehanis 28-7 Harper. Wolford Friendship versus Lubbock Coronado 45-26 Friendship wins. Randall and Andrews 32-21 Andrews. Ballinger Sonora 46-12 Sonora. Pampa Big Spring 35-25. Pampa wins big there. Odessa Permian loses. It's going to be a big loss for them against Abilene High 49-14. Brady Comanche 37-8 Comanche. Midland High versus El Paso Montwood 39-14. Chadwick, don't we play Montwood in a few weeks?
Next week.
All right. Does that make you feel a little bit better?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good test for the Bobcats moving forward. I know Montwood graduated a bunch of players last year, but the thing is the Bobcats have to travel to El Paso next week, so we'll just see how it goes.
I'm guessing they're going to win by 30 after tonight. Coleman Mason 29-20. Mason wins. Lamesa Lakeview 49-8. The boys for the North Side get it done.
Go Chiefs.
Yep. Junction De Leon 40-19. De Leon. Moran Lawn 40-0 Moran. Colorado City and Roscoe 42-0. Roscoe wins. Grape Creek Stanton 42-6 Stanton. Aspermont Blackwell 30-14 Aspermont. Stanford Hamlin 48-6 Stanford. Lubbock Trinity Christian Albany. Oh, man, 22-21. What a nail-biter. Albany wins. Stockdale Ingram Moore 14-13. Another nail-biter. Ingram Moore takes this one. Robert Lee, 45's Rotan, 46-0. Midland Legacy, 28. Amarillo High, 7. Blanket Rising Star, 52-6. Rising Star. Very Best, Santa Ana, 50-0. That's another 45er. Menard and McDade, 62-14. Menard. Looters, Avaca, 6. Trent Gorillas, 51. Lubbock Estacado last night beat Midland Greenwood, 65-51. Abilene TLCA lost to Water Valley last night, 60-9. And Bront lost to Zephyr last night, 42-18. Still waiting on a Panther Creek Woodson score. San Angelo Central drops to Colleen Shoemaker, first game of the season, 34-27. Miles and Kermit, 72-12. Miles wins. El Dorado 26, Cristobal 12. El Dorado wins the battle 277. Chadwick, why the heck would I ever pick against the Eagles?
I mean, that's what you get.
Wall Eastland 35-10 Wall. Those are going to be our scores. And, of course, the Texas Bank scoreboard is brought to you by Texas Bank. So when you're going to decide who to bank with the local guys, bank with Texas Bank. Chadwick, final thoughts.
For all the teams that lost in week one, again, it's week one. It's not the end of the world. If anything, this is just an extension of the preseason at this point. You know, use this time to get better, work on what you need to work on, move forward so you can get your first win in week 2.
Chadwick talks about loser. It's because it's a loser. But I'll talk about the winners tonight.
Chill.
No, seriously though, I'll talk about the winners. Lakeview Chiefs. Was my final thought during my pregame show was that this game was the one that you could circle if you were the Lakeview Chiefs, so you're going to win. Not only did they win, but they also kicked some freaking butt. So good job, boys, for the North Side, and I'm ready to say that y'all probably will go 2-0.
I mean, I'm here for it.
All right.
Let's see the Chiefs go 10-0 this year.
Hey, I'm in. That James did say that he thinks Lakeview will have a better record. After seeing Central tonight, I don't know if that's true. But
Central, again, and I want to throw this out there. Like, Central played very well tonight. Yeah, they made some dumb mistakes, but, like, at the end of the day, Colleen Shoemaker was an incredibly talented football team. And Central, duked it out punch for punch the entire game.
Yep, and apparently Odessa Permian sucks, so good thing for us. This is live. This is the live Cover 1 show. We have a pregame, halftime show, and a postgame show for Ryan Chadwick, James Bellini, our scorekeeper Yantis Green, of course, behind the scenes Joe Hyde, and our reporters on the scenes Scott Manchaca, Lexi Dykes, and Ernesto Rodriguez. For all the team here at Cover 1, we'll see you next time.
See ya.